Of course, the family member would like to also get involved in the day-to-day operations, but I think we realize that it is best that micromanagement does not take place. The other important thing is also is respect, because obviously nobody wants everybody. Respect is very dear to everyone, and professionals, one has to treat them properly, and also they must see that there's a chance of growth within the organizations. We within our group of companies have many companies which are actually not even headed by a family member, where professionals are heading it. Take our insurance company, take our joint ventures, where people from packages or professionals from packages have gone to run those companies. The other thing which also becomes a little difficult, which Samad has talked about a little bit, is in succession planning. Of course, one would like that the next generation does get involved in the family business, but I think they have to be inducted at a very low level and then earn their spares, as one would say. I did that myself. I joined packages more than back in '87, and I became the CEO, I think, after about 20 plus years in the company, and that was after having even worked 7 years abroad. So it does require a lot of patience, and of course you have to earn the respect of the team. I think that is also very, very important. Once you do that, and then of course the person could be elevated. Another point I would like to touch on is that we've seen that it is better to have a professional at the top than to have I don't want to say an incompetent, but a less capable family member who could actually ruin the business. Because by doing so, he in turn then actually also ruins the fortunes of the family. So with those few words, I would like to thank you.
Thank you. Now, one issue which was mentioned also by Irfan Mustafa, and the brands, the Pakistani family brands are not seen much within the country and even outside. I happened to be in New York recently and went for a breakfast with my kids and was able to see Pakola ice cream soda, and they were thrilled. And then we saw some national food brands, or for that matter, Roo Afza, but not much that we see in big departmental stores related to textile and other things. So why the Pakistani families have not been able to get onto that horizon in developing the brands? Mr. Qasim.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you, Moeez Saab. Before I dwell into my subject, I'd like to read out some facts and figures. And we started, McKinsey's report. And I'm reading out of this Economist magazine, which was of September 24, 2009, and it says, many big European family businesses, after all, have survived 2 world wars and successive waves of nationalism. As a result, they tend to be wary of debt and seldom panic. According to a global index compiled by Credit Suisse, which is a bank, family firms have outperformed the MSCI World Index by 4.8% since its launch in January 2007. So that's the hardcore fact which is being reported by the Economist magazine. And further, they say family businesses value honest, careful work and keeping close to the customer. They're not for easy money and speculation. So with this facts and figures, let me delve into why I picked up this branding subject in the family. In the developed world, family name is itself a brand, and brand is the power and high profile of the brand, stronger is the company. Family businesses must develop their own brands locally and internationally. Globalization of family enterprise leading to present day MNCs has been through developing specialty products and processes. These products command higher price and higher profits due to confidence level of end consumer in their brands. Somehow, Pakistani family companies have long way to go in that direction to become global players. Good beginning has been made by businesses of some Pakistani families, but our textile and ready-to-eat Pakistani food products have great scope to expand, and some of the brands which Moeez mentioned a while ago, but you don't see those brands in the mainstream big departmental stores, when you go abroad. I mean, you can think of the brands, Pakistani brands, for example, Lawrenceburg, which is owned by the Dawood Group, and Samad is sitting, and I was talking to him about, why this brand can't go international. I mean, you take example of Cotton & Cotton, which is, manufacturing shirts in Karachi. It's a good brand, good quality, and why can't these things go global? Second point I'd like to talk about the family businesses, as most of them start with sole person behind it, and he wants to hold, or he or she wants to hold that thing to the close to the chest. And we need to understand that, as somebody said in one of my panel friends, that we need to make the family business as an institution instead of letting it remain personalized operations. Man comes and goes, but the stream of institution is like flowing river for centuries. So would the institution. Consider this as a short-term episode, but when you start laying a foundation of a new business, think it will last forever. Think of the posterity through strong institutions. This is what the family businesses have, the challenges in Pakistan. If I look across, my neighbors' country, like for example India, I mean, you have got bigger examples which the brands have gone global, Tata Group, which have bought, companies in Europe and in Far East Asia, in Korea, and they've become truly global. And we have few examples here, but we need more examples in family businesses. I mean, the wonderful example we have of packages, the fourth generation, and they're already kind of going global, but we really need professionals, and the family businesses have to understand that to survive in the next century, we need to employ the professionals, bring in the succession plan, what my friends talked about. But if you look at the history of this country, it has been only for 60 years. What I've talked about, given some facts and figures, it's almost 100 and 200 years that have passed by. So we really have a long way to go, but we need to set the benchmark somewhere and to start with. Thank you.
The biggest tsunami which hit Pakistan family business was nationalization. And that's where we saw many of our big family businesses vanished and then disintegrated, and very few that we see. And we all know that. I mean, Dawood perhaps, or maybe some of the Moeez are still there in the scenes, or Ali's. But then you find Adamjis, Valikas, Segals, Bhavanis, Dadas, Noon, Pakola, slightly there, Rangoonwala, Fancies, Kawasjis, Hisons, Minwalas, TK Captain, Maker, Service is still there, Ghulam Farooq, Mannus, and some of the Chaudhries are there. But we have lost many of the big family businesses in Pakistan. And now there is a next generation anyway which is coming in, and we see that Lakhanis and Tapals and Manshas and others are in the businesses. But then how to take this business global? Umar?
So I can probably speak from my own family businesses perspective. Our challenge has been that everyone has been so involved in managing companies that you don't have time to step back and actually think big and think global. And that's part of the reason we've embarked on this transition now, where we're giving professionals to run our companies. The company I ran, which is a $100 million company, is now run by a professional. And when people ask me, what are you going to do now? I say, I'm going to establish our company's name in other developing countries. And I've, as an example, in my 15-year business career, not opened international business anywhere. But if I look at what I've done in the last 6 months, is I've probably researched 4 different countries, and I'm working on a business plan to set up our operations in Kenya, which inshallah we'll do in the first quarter of next year.